Hello everyone, welcome to Clever Director Android session. This is your second Android session. In our previous video, we have gone through basics regarding Android and installation step of required software to work with Android applications. Now let's start working with Android Studio. Once you will start your Android Studio, this window will pop up from where you can work with existing project or you can create your own new project. So let's first create one new project by clicking on start a new Android Studio project. It will ask you to give a name to your Android application. Let's give it name as Hello World, as it's our very first application. Then hit next. Then it will ask you to set minimum SDK. Now minimum SDK actually means Android right now having its latest version as Android API, Android 5.1 Lollipop version, then after an API 23 Marshmallow version. But latest version indicates that you are working for the very less amount of people. So instead of taking this Marshmallow, we will go with this, let's say, KitKat version. So we can develop our application for approximately 73.9% of devices that are on Google Play Store. Then hit next. Then you have to select template as per your requirement. Once you select template, Android Studio will generate few line of code automatically regarding to your selected template. We can call this code as a skeleton type of application. Let's select basic activity type of template and then hit next. Then it will ask you to use a fragment or not. What is fragment and rest other things I will explain later on, but right now let me tick this and hit finish. Then wait for few minutes till it get loaded and start your very first application, that is Hello World. Okay, after loading up your very first application, if you want to run this application, then there are actually three ways. You can run your application on physical device, means on your phone, and you can check its output. Second way is you can use AVD Manager, Android Virtual Device Manager, in Android Studio. In Android Studio, it provides a different phone and different virtual devices by using which you can test your application. If you want to create your own virtual device, then by clicking over here, you can select different kind of devices available inside your Android Studio. If you want to develop your own devices with your own functionalities, then you can create it by, let's say, select this Nexus 5 and then clone this device, and here you have to select its RAM and whatever functionalities you want to change. If you want to give your device name any name you want to suggest, like my phone, then it will generate one new virtual device with name my phone with your desired RAM, desired screen size, desired resolution, etc. This is how you can create your own virtual device. Right now I have selected two virtual devices, Nexus 5 and API 24 and Nexus 5 API 23 to run my application, and third one is to use a Genymotion. This is a Genymotion. Genymotion is actually a tool which provides a set of virtual devices. This is same like Android virtual devices, but it's very fast than that of the AVD. And same way, if you want to add a new virtual devices, then you can add your virtual devices from here. Here all virtual devices available in market are available, from where you can select your desired virtual devices. Right now I have downloaded images of two virtual devices, that is Samsung Galaxy Note 2 and Samsung Nexus 5, but I will work with this AVD virtual device is available with Android Studio. So to run our very first application, hit run button, that is over here. It will ask you to select your simulation devices. Let's go with this Nexus 5 API and hit OK. Then wait for a minute till it start your virtual devices, means it load your Android phone plate. By default it will just display hello world on your screen. Okay, so by default it just display hello world onto your output screen. But as I said in our last lecture that we will create our every application in a one new creative manner, so same way we will create our hello world application here in a more creative manner. But before we develop our very first application, I would like to talk about few things regarding basic things regarding structure of Android Studio. In actually the output screen of our device, let's say look like this. Let's say this is our output screen where our output or record of our user interface portion will get displayed. We can say this screen as our record activity screen. In our past, UI part is built into our activity, means we have to tell system where to put button, where to put our text box. Likewise, let's say consider that this screen is having image over here. Then after having one input text box, let's say having another text box over here, and then let's say it is having button over here. So we have to specify that where we will keep our text box, where we will keep our button, etc. These things, that how we will arrange our UI is called as our layout. These whole things we can say as our layout. But few years ago Android introduced the concept of fragment. We can attach fragment with our activity. So record activity with fragment will start look like this. Let's say this is our fragment. Let's say this is our activity with fragment. So fragment in our activity will look like this. So this is our fragment. In future, if we need to make any changes, then it will become very easy to make changes in our this fragment portion, other than making changes in directly our layout portion. So now first let's understand how to create our activity. So first thing here is that we need to extend our class by activity. Go to this main activity.java file. Here we can say that our class main activity is extended with app compact activity. We can extend it by activity also. Actually this is a default code that is generated by the Android Studio once we load our application. So it's a by default code. Then you can, after extending your class by activity, then you can use some existing method that is available in activity class by overriding that method. So you can here see that we have overridden one method, that is onCreate method. onCreate is actually a very first method which we execute once we load our project. This is first on create method, where you can actually write code that you want to execute in it. In actually, Android activity is having its own life cycle. Its life cycle, we will go through its life cycle in very next session. But when you see this @override, it indicates that this method is actually already defined in our activity class. Now this set content view r.layout activity main will load our layout of our activity class, and this activity underscore main is located at this path, is located at this r.layout.activity main path. R indicate this res folder, res under which there is a one folder, we can say layout, and in layout there is a file activity main.xml. This is file where we can create our user interface. Here in our activity we are going to load our fragment where we will implement our user interface portion. Now let's consider this all. Let's understand few things regarding all these folders available in Android Studio. First folder is this manifest folder. It's a very important file in Android Studio. Consider this line: Android icon @mipmap underscore IC launcher. So in this folder mipmap, there is a few images regarding IC launcher. IC launcher is a default image, means this Android icon indicate your actual icon of your application. Let's again run our project to understand this. Here you can see this default icon of this Android Studio. Your application is green lithoman. If you want to change this default litho green man, then let's go this Google image and just search, let's say hello world. Let's just randomly select this image. And save this image. Let's say I'm going to save this image onto desktop. Okay, so copy this image and paste that into this mipmap folder. It will show different images with different resolution. Whatever kind of image you want to load, you can take that image. Okay, so it is available now. This image is available into our mipmap folder. You can change your icon by giving path over here. So image Android icon equals to @mipmap, means it is available in the mipmap folder with name. Here our name is images. Save it and let again relaunch our application, again run it. Okay, now let's check icon of our image. So you can see that icon of our Android application is changed over here. It's a hello world, our newly set icon that you can find over here. This is how you can change icon of your application. Now next folder is that of the Java folder. In Java folder you are having main activity. So this is the main activity flow in which you can extend your activity and you can write whatever number of code you want to execute. You have to write your Java file over here. If you look at this code again, then after this on create method you can find on create option menu method. To understand this on create option menu method, let's again go our Android application. Here you can find at topmost portion you can find this menu items. This is settings available over here. This menu item is available at this r.menu.menu_main file. R indicate this res resource folder. Under that menu folder is there, and under menu folder there is a file menu_main_.xml file. If you go to its code, then you can find one item over here with title as string @string action settings. To understand this title, let's go to this string folder. Under this value folder there is a one string.xml file is there. If you analyze this string file, then you can find name for action_setting as settings. So here action_settings we will get name as settings, that will be displayed over here. You can add as many menu items as you want to insert in it by using multiple items over here and by assigning different IDs to each items. Right now if I click on these settings, then no action will get performed as we don't have implemented any code on that. If you want to perform any action, then there is a one method on option item selected, where you have to pass menu items and then you have to check build upon its ID that if your selected item is having this ID, then whatever action you want to perform on that, then you can perform that action over here. Now to create our Android application in a more creative manner, let's again load two more images. In that, let's say we having these two images, we copy these images and let's paste it under this drawable folder. You can copy these 5 images under MIPMap folder, or you can also copy these images under drawable folder also. Now to design our user interface, go to this main fragment_main.xml file. Means our fragment portion we will going to design our first hello world application. Let's take a one image view from here. It's a drag and drop kind of approach with Android Studio, so it's easy to design. Once you load this image view, you can find different images over here. Let's select one image that is available in drawable folder and hit OK. You can find that this image is available here. You can place it as per your convenience. Okay, let's change this text box from here. Text is hello world. I will change this text to, let's say, hello my BTech friends. You can send different properties of this text. Let's say if you want to change ID of this text, then you can change from here. If you want to make a font bold, then you can change it from here. If you want to change color of your text, then you can change from here. Let's say I want to display it in a pink color. If you want to change the font size of your text, then you can change from here. Let's say I set that to 30. Okay, now let's run our application. Save this and run our application. You can find that this kind of layout will get displayed over here. But what happen if I rotate this font from portrait mode to landscape mode? You can see its look and feel gets changed. To understand how it gets changed, let's design one more layout file. So go to this layout, then new layout resource file. Under this layout resource file, you can create same file. Let's say fragment underscore main. But suppose right now my concern is to design a file that will get loaded when I change my font from portrait mode to landscape mode. So select this orientation. From orientation you can select this landscape mode, then hit OK. This is the file with the same name. Means if your phone in the portrait mode, then this kind of layout will get displayed, and if your phone will be in landscape mode, then this kind of layout will get displayed. So let again run and again launch our application. Now let's rotate this. You can see when I change its mode from portrait mode to landscape mode, it's just change its view. Let's again set it to portrait mode. You can see that it again displays different look and feel. So let's load one more image to make it more better. Select this image view and just drag and drop over here, and let's select this image. Let's change the height and width of this image. Go to its text. You can also manually change the height and width of this image. Let's say there is having one code like Android layout underscore width equals to match parent. What is this match parent and what is this wrap content? We will find all these things in our very next video. Right now let's say its width is, let's say, 300 dp, and let's say its height is also, let's say, 300 dp. Just save it. You can also find its design view. You can see that it just gets changed up. Let's add one more text view over here. Its text is checked. Let's change its text view as hello my MTech friends. You can change different properties from here. Means if you want to change its color, if you want to change it from font size, etc., you can change its property from here. Let's say I want to increase this font size to 30 dp, and let's say I want to change its color over here. So go to color, let's select this blue color, and hit OK. To make it more better, let's increase its feed size. Let's say to 500. Now let's again run this application. Now let's rotate it into landscape mode. You can see this is how it's just changes look and feel based upon whether our phone is in landscape mode or in portrait mode. So this is what about our very first application, that is Hello World, and that we have created in a more creative manner. So thank you for watching this video, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.